Which hand?
Delaware.
Delaware, the exotic land of Delaware.
San
Where's
Francisco.
this little princess from here?
Oh, that's a chat fairy. Where are you from?
Chat Fairy, where are you from?
I'm from Fairyland. Really?
Mute your mic, please.
Hold on a second, we're gonna kick this
we
guy
have a
out.
troll already.
Oh goodness. Hold on, we're gonna take him out here.
Goodbye.
Music. So you guys do this a lot? Do you know what's going on here?
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
We do. Those are different questions.
So Casey, we're all here and we're all super excited. We've been having folks come in all the time. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody and sort of tell us about your role in the Star Trek universe?
Casey Biggs, you hopefully know that I played
Yes.
Leggett DeMar on DS9. And what else did I do? They asked me to do something on Enterprise once. And they said, oh, come on, we got this great new race. They're called, what were they called? I don't know, and they said, it's going to be a new race. But I came in and, what's his name? Who was the head of that guy? Scott Bakula?
Scott Bakula.
Yes.
What was his character? He tried to steal my warp core or something. And then I should have shot the son of a bitch.
Unforgivable.
They phaser my hand and they disappear. So that's the last time you saw these Illyrian. It was an Illyrian. That's what it was. So I had luckily did 5 years on DS9. I started as a Glynn and ended up a Leggett. I ended up the leader of the Cardassian Empire. How cool is that? And I died saving my race. You know, if you have to die, it's good to die in the last 5 minutes of the last episode of the last season, and you go out a hero. So there's a
Spoilers.
I think Garrick put up a statue of me on Cardassia somewhere. So.
That's where I'd want a statue of me, of course. So,
Hey, did any of you guys out there in this virtual world get to see the documentary? What we leave
actually,
behind?
I stumbled across it yesterday. I saw the trailer. Super interesting.
It's fascinating. If you get a chance, take a look at it. It's so fascinating.
we might have to do a watch party.
Called What We Leave Behind.
What we leave behind.
We'll do it.
It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, maybe we can bring it into Santa.
Oh, Casey,
Yeah.
that'd be really interesting. We'd do a watch party with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I love about it. It talks a lot about how the process of how a show gets made, or how characters get done, or whatever. And you know, we were the dark horse of Star Trek. They left us alone. That's why we could do those really cool storylines.
It was really ahead of its time too.
It was.
It was a great show.
The writers were fantastic. I thought I was going to be on one episode. I ended up being on 5 years, and went from here to like the leader of the Empire. So I guess they must have liked my work, huh?
So what is it like being a part of one of the most well-beloved and well-known sci-fi franchises of all time?
I had no idea what I was getting into when I got this part. I thought, I'll tell you a story. I've told it before. Who's doing the ballet over there? That's pretty cool. Anyway, I went in for this audition, and they had 5 words. I went to Juilliard. I'm a classical actor, right? Shakespeare, all this and stuff. The words were like, this was the scene, literally one scene. They're in range, sir. Fire. That was it.
I was really there.
Perfect.
That was it. And I walked out of the room and I said, man, they could have anybody do this. What am I doing here? But what I didn't realize is that they had big plans for that character, right? And also, Ira, the executive producer, he was a huge fan of the Alamo. You guys know what the Alamo was? You know, back in the 1860s.
Yes.
The actual Alamo. Oh, okay.
The Alamo. And I did this, the very first, anybody see IMAX films?
Yeah.
You know, they're
Absolutely.
like 5 stories high. This was the very first dramatic IMAX film anybody ever shot. And I played the lead in it, who was Colonel William Travis, and he was the hero of the Alamo. Little did I know that Ira was a huge fan of the Alamo. So I had that job the moment I walked in the door. I didn't know it though, but I thought it was one day, literally. I thought it was gonna be one day. So I'm sitting there if you go watch the episode, Gul Dukat and I have taken, you got this old junker ship for some reason. And I'm sitting at the panel, the control panel, and I literally say, they're in range, sir, fire. And the director came over to me and he said, they have big plans for this character. I said, I've got 2 pounds of rubber on my face. I don't even know if I can act with this. So that's how I got that job, you know. But it was wonderful, and being part of the world, the Star Trek world, taking us all over the world, and it's a true honor to do that. Somebody asking me something? No?
We had a little bit of mic feedback, but we do have questions for you.
Mike, anybody have any question?
Yeah.
I have tons of questions.
Drax, ask a short question.
That's impossible, Galileo.
Then you're not allowed.
I asked the question I asked the other guys too. How do you feel about these conventions and interacting with fans? Sometimes they can be a little bit, getting too close for comfort. And how do you feel about interacting?
I feel that the fans spend so much money to come to these things, and they deserve our attention. So me and the guys that I hang out with, Jeff and Max and Armin and all these guys, we pay a lot of attention to the fans. Because like a lot of some people who I won't mention, James T. Kirk. Oh, I won't mention him.
Okay.
They just sit there and sign and sign and sign and sign. They don't look up. They don't talk to you. Because I think attention must be paid. So I usually ask people where they're from, why they get into. I was in Italy one time. Anybody here from Italy, by the way? I was in a con in Italy, and it was fascinating. There was a couple thousand people. They were mostly there for the community that they bring. Yeah. Almost much more than just come and see the celebrities. I was very, very moved by that, actually, because they just like what Star Trek represents in the world, as it should, which is inclusion and intelligence and science. The sad part is too many people in our world today don't believe in science. How about that, huh? Jeez. Anyway, if we didn't have Star Trek, we wouldn't have iPhones. We wouldn't, you guys know this. You got a phone. Yeah. It's how many times more powerful than we just had the 50th anniversary of the Apollo mission. This little thing that we carry in our hands is 1,000 times more powerful than the computer that took them to the moon. Just blows you away, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so I truly, to answer that question, I think I enjoy it. And what's interesting too, I don't know if any of you have seen us. Some of the guys, we do the Rat Pack. We perform. We got the Enterprise Blues Band. We go on these cruises with all Star Trek fans. So if you have a chance to do that, you should do that sometime. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Something else?
I have a question. You're in VR for probably the first time.
Yes.
Maybe.
Is that who's talking to me? The nice legs?
Yeah, that's right. Nice legs.
That's her name.
Transgender in real life.
Yes.
How do you feel about the future, maybe, of acting in VR in the future?
I tell you, it's a little...
It's a platform that has that potential.
It's a little disconcerting, you know why? Because you won't need us.
Oh, we totally need you, because you still do the acting.
You're still acting.
Yeah, but it's not...
acting Avatar instead.
But it's not really, because, acting is about, to me, the kind of acting is about revealing your soul, right? Revealing... They say the eyes are the... the eyes
window.
Are the mirror window to the soul. The problem with the Avatar stuff, until it gets a little better, it's a little hard, And the thing that's disconcerting is that you can do an entire movie, and they have done entire movies without any actors at all. Voice acting sometimes, like pretty soon they won't have to do that. Yeah. So, but it's going to change things, and it'll be interesting to see how it changes things. But still, there's nothing like sitting in a seat watching a human being tell you a story. That's to me is the most exciting. So there we are.
Oh. I have a question, actually.
Who's that?
Just since it's over here, the blonde with the blue dress.
It's hard to look at the dress, I must
sorry.
say.
I appreciate that. So you mentioned that you're kind of classically trained, Shakespeare, etc. There's a couple other actors, obviously, in Star Trek that are the same way. Do you guys kind of hang out at all based on that?
A great deal of the DS9 people were classically trained, and I maintain that you have to be classically trained in order to speak that kind of language and make it sound like it's coming from a living, breathing person. Right. A lot of that techno babble, and if you saw our show, Jeff and I were always, in front of big screens talking about all kinds of techno stuff. So you have to have a real facility for the language to be able to do that. And also to be able to be an alien, as I was, and see what is the experience of an alien, and to have that come through. So, 'It's challenging, and I think you need that kind of training myself.
Right. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did having
you.
all of those prosthetics applied to you affect your sort of acting process?
Yeah, it was fascinating because some people couldn't. I had a stuntman who we do stunts, and he couldn't stand being in that makeup. He would rip it off the moment he was done, and to me it didn't bother me. I had 9 pieces on my face, and what's fascinating is to leave yourself alone and let the costume do the work. You understand by that? I mean, I'm looking at all you guys, and it's all like you could tell a story about each and every one of you because of how you chose to look, right? So
And I understand that.
yeah, right. So it takes training also to leave yourself alone and trust that you're interesting enough to actually make the story happen.
Right.
So what was the prosthetics process like?
4 o'clock in the morning,
Oh,
you're sitting in a chair for 3 hours. You can't move. You get on the set at 7 to do what they call camera blocking. They do camera blocking. You go back and sit in your trailer or dressing room or something, come back about 2 hours later, and then shoot the scene. And what's really interesting about being in makeup, the way I was, Jeff and I were doing a scene once, and we finished our scene before lunch. So they said, and you know what that means when they do turnarounds? So like if you guys are looking at me, the camera's looking at me, and then we do a turnaround, it looks at you. So we got out of makeup and came back in to shoot the turnaround for the other actor. And the assistant director had never seen us out of makeup. So they said, excuse me, could you guys get off the set? They had no idea that it was us. I said, no, I'm Damar. We're in the scene. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Yeah? So it was fascinating. And you're in that something. It took an hour for my makeup to take off as well. 3 hours to put on, an hour to take off. So I got a lot of overtime.
What DS9 episode are you most proud of as an actor? It was maybe most challenging for you.
I tell you, I really like the ones where they let me stop drinking that shitty Canar. Oh my God, that stuff was so bad. And there's one episode where, actually I was talking about it earlier yesterday, where Jeffrey comes into my room and finds me in bed with a nondescript Cardassian woman to tell me that my wife and kid were killed in the war. I didn't even know I had a wife and kid as a character. And that's the moment I gave up the Canar. I took it and I looked, I was going to drink it, and I threw it at the mirror. You see, and that's the last time I had to drink that crap. Oh my God. They like, what's interesting, they liked the way I looked in the bar with Quark, so they made me an alcoholic for 2 years. That stuff was so bad. It was, you know what Caro syrup is?
Oh, yes.
Anybody know what that is? It's like really thick sugars, syrups, terrible. Ew. And so I had to, that proves what a good actor I am. It looked like I liked it, right? I hated that stuff. But anyway, I liked that one. And I also liked it when they allowed me to have a little more of a sense of humor. I don't know how well you know the show, but there's a scene where Worf breaks Wei Yun's neck and dies.
Yikes.
And then I'm sitting there drinking, and in comes the next Wei Yun, because they clone him, and he starts, mouthing off to me, and I look at him, and I start like, say, hey, better be careful, I'll be talking to Wei Yun number 9. So I like it when they give you a little sense of humor. And I also like the end of the show. If you haven't seen it and you watch the last episode, we come together, Kira and everybody, and we're trying to take back Cardassia. And it says in the script, Damar is killed by ND alien. ND means nondescript, means they don't have a name. And I said to the director, I said, come on, listen. I'm a hero here. I can't be killed by a nondescript alien. So they said, well, what do you want to do? I said, this is what I want to do. Anybody see any John Woo movies? You know what John Woo movies are? Mm-hmm. They're like bullet ballets.
Yeah.
Bullet ballets. So I said, listen, I want 2 big guns. I want to take out 50 Jem'Hadar, and I want my chest to explode, and I want to die in somebody's arms.
Perfect.
And the director said, okay. So I did all that, but the only problem is the arms I died in was Garrick's. I get blown up and I die in Garrick's arms. So, yeah. But that was a good death. If you're going to have to die, it's a good death.
That's great, especially after 5 years. I think we have time for one more question. So let's.
My time flies in virtual reality.
It certainly does. It's time is virtual here. Anybody got one last question? If not, I've got one. What was the most challenging scene you ever had to film, and why?
In DS9, the most challenging scene? Well, I was doing a play in New York. I got the play, and I went to the producers, and I said, hey, guys, because the way they handle what they call recurring characters, which what we were, they never tell you how many shows you're going to do. Every time you think, well, this is the last show. So I went to the producers, hey, I got this big Broadway show. He said, what? What are you talking about? I said, well, I'm going to New York in 2 weeks to do a show. We got you written into 13 episodes. I said, you didn't tell me that. So what was nice about it, they flew me back on my day off on a Monday. We had Mondays off. They fly me back on Monday, and I would shoot the scenes. And the way they did it is that's when they put Jeff and I in front of those big screens to talk about technobabble. But you had to learn pages of all this technobabble. That to me was... because it doesn't relate to anything. They're going through the Alpha Quad to District 17, and it doesn't mean anything. So to me, those are difficult. But in terms of challenging, it wasn't that challenging because the writing was so good. And it was so good because the storytelling was coming from an honest place. And that's great stuff to have to act in, you know. But man, I would love to see what all your houses look like. Holy mackerel!
We have wonderful houses.
I bet
we have entire worlds.
My God, I bet, huh?
You're welcome
You can
to come back anytime.
Yeah, please come back.
Holy
Yes.
moly.
This is just a smidgen of what's here.
Oh my gosh! And so
See my house, man. It's real messy.
I bet it's magic, huh?
I like it like that, though, man.
What's the kitchen look like?
We don't eat. I don't eat. I'm anorexic.
Jeez. All right. Come on, Chet Perry.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a tree, man.
So just before the end here, I want to know what all your names are. What's yours?
I'm Galileo. Oh, you're looking at
Next to you.
Oh.
No.
Henria.
Henria?
Here I call myself Luvanami.
Luvanami. The guy with the little head.
Chris. I'm from Germany.
No,
Greetings.
Greetings. Fantastic. You back there? You back there behind you? Are you even here?
Some people don't have voices.
I already said
Mr. Mute.
Ransom from Germany. Hi.
Germany, cheers. I love a lot of buddies in Germany. The little guy here?
Chris.
Chris? Yep. And the one behind you, the blue?
Daisy from the Netherlands.
The Netherlands. Ooh, I like the Netherlands.
Agnaria. I'm German, but I live in San Francisco.
San Francisco. All right. Yes, sir. This fellow here.
My name is Andrei. I'm from Ukraine.
Ukraine. Fantastic.
Yes.
Welcome. The cool shades behind you. Yes.
Zilt, that's you.
Maybe if I turn my mic on, that would be good.
There we go.
Southern California, Zilt.
California? Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Munich, Germany.
Munich. Man, Munich is a place I'd like to go back to.
Not during the Oktoberfest.
Not during the Oktoberfest.
That's when the locals leave.
Yeah, this guy here. They're going in. Yeah.
Zenoa might not have a mic.
Mexico.
Oh, there he goes.
Where? Durango. Fantastic. Behind you, it looks like a...
Crocodile friend.
Where?
I call myself Mayaki.
Mayaki?
Yes.
And you're from
I'm
where?
from Denmark.
Denmark. All right. Another beautiful place. And we got the
alligator. The only alligator. From
The alligator.
Britain. Yeah,
Where
my
you-
name is Daisy.
From where?
From Britain. Yeah, the only known species of alligator from Britain.
All right.
Yeah.
There's no... You.
Hi, I'm Alex from Scotland.
Scotland. I'm Scottish. I like Scotland.
Well then, it's a pleasure.
Cheers. Is that what you do? Yeah? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at my fingers work. Wow.
See, you can act. Now we're getting into it.
Okay. The blue dress that I can't look at.
Oh, yeah, no, Disney, Canada.
Canada. All right. Behind us with a colorful head. This fellow back
Ranger.
there.
That's Ranger.
Ranger?
Yeah, let's see see if he's in chat. Ranger, where are you from?
Who's typing?
He's from Florida.
Florida? All right, a little warm. Okay. And our little fairy here who's floating around?
I'm the chat fairy.
You're the chat fairy? Where do you live, chat fairy?
I primarily live in Sansar. I'm from Louisiana, but I live in Sansar right now.
All right.
Just hang out, you know.
Can't say I've been there. There's a little fairy back there, too.
That's Nick.
Nick
from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. All right. And who's next to Nick? Get that thing working.
DJ Quodo. Do you have voice
New
DJ?
York.
There you go.
New York.
New York? Where? New York City?
Yep.
All right. I lived there for a long time. And we got a rock and roller behind you. Who's that?
Looking at you, Dan.
Dan?
Yeah. I'm from Russian, St. Petersburg.
Russian, St. Petersburg. You look.
Yeah.
It's a great look there. You play the guitar or something, hopefully?
No.
Oh,
Sorry.
somebody just came and kissed me almost. Who was that?
All right, Thiago, let's call him.
Welcome. Okay, and the Matrix guy here?
QB, he's talking to you.
You. Where are you from?
Oh, QB. Hi. Hey, how's it going? I'm from Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, beautiful place. And we got a steampunker back there, huh?
It is.
Trash can from California.
California. And then,
Thiago?
Right.
Ned from Delaware.
Ned. I like Delaware, too. Mike, everybody goes all around here.
Brazilian.
We got an unk on your head. You know that? An Egyptian guy, right?
That's right. I'm Metatron from Canada. Nice to meet you, sir.
Okay, nice to meet you. Cheers. Woo! And then we got a couple of twins here, right?
That's the person standing next to you in real life. That's Lacey.
The Texas twins.
Why is there two Lacey's then?
Good question.
Because it takes two to...
Split personality.
There you go.
Did I get everybody? Did I get it?
We have Carmel back there as well. Say hi, Carmel.
Yeah?
Hello.
Brazilian.
London. Put
Who's
on my
from
best
London?
London accent for you.
Who's from London?
You can see her right behind
Me back
Lacey
here.
here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Behind the twins.
That's a nice little posh accent, huh?
Oh, okay. That's the first. Thank you. I think I sound particularly London, if anything, but thank you very much.
Who's the angel walking around? Who's from the UK?
I am. I think I forgot to mention that. Louvain.
Ah, UK, okay.
Yeah.
And what about the angel back there? Yo, angel.
The angel is Elegant Celeste. I don't know if
Yeah?
they have. I don't know if they have voice. Elegance,
They
where are
don't
you
have voice?
from?
All right.
France.
France, comment ça va?
Hey.
Ça va bien? Anyway, it's good to meet you all. Am I done here? Do I have more time or not?
You can stay
It's up
as
to
long as
you. I
like.
think
This is cool.
Grant in real life once has some ideas about what you should be doing, but you can do whatever you want.
I'd go wherever you point me, you know?
I think it is time to wrap it up, actually. Thank you so much, Casey. This has been super fun.
Thank you, TAC.
Thanks, Lacey. Woo.
All right.
Hey, look at that.
So you can act in VR. It's great.
And for real, you're welcome to come back anytime. We can show you the rest of the stuff.
Wow, what a pleasure.
We can do a screening of the movie we're talking about.
documentary.
The documentary.
Yeah, do come back.
That would be very interesting, actually, to do that.
Yeah,
That would be, yeah.
It's a little long. Cheers. Hey, how do you do that?
Oh, we go.
Oh, that like that. There you go.
Nice.
Cheers, you guys. I got to go and sign some autographs and take some pictures, and we're going to do a big show tonight. Who is this?
Cheers.
All right, have fun.
Let's all do a little dance.
Oh, that's
Hi.
Nikki.
Oh, it's Nikki.
Oh, Nikki just got here.
Just got here. I'm so glad I got to meet you.
Okay, you got one question before I leave. You got a question?
All right, get it, Nikki.
Have you ever met William Shatner?
Yes, many, many times.
Oh my gosh, I love him so much. I met him once myself, so
He
yeah.
speaks very highly of you, I must say.
Got him.
Have a good one.
Bye, Casey.
Have a good
What
day.
fun this was. Nice one. Wow.
Thank you.
What do I do now? Ah, they're taking me away. Ah.
Just here and